All right, we're going to try this again, guys. Please let me know if you got volume, you can hear me. But Audric Estime has been waived. This, I don't think, really comes as a massive surprise, maybe a little bit after he had a really good game, I think, on Saturday against the Saints. I was in Las Vegas over the last few days, so sorry that I didn't get a video out. But I think that this opens up in a roster spot not only for Tyler Badie, who I'm very, very excited about, but also Audric Estime, okay, or Jaleel McLaughlin, rather. Hey, BVG Trey, thank you. I don't know what was going on. I just unplugged the mic, plug it back in. But here we are. Before I get started, really want to encourage you guys, join the chat. Please be sure to like and subscribe. We're on our way to 3K. That really helps, as I am fighting a faulty, wrongly given demonetization claim on my Buffs channel, which sucks. And lastly, go buy your local Colorado Taco Bell. Go pick yourself up a Buffs box for only $7. Get a collectible cup. It's only $7, and you go to support CU Athletics True NIL. Let's go ahead and get into it. Respect my co. Saying Jaleel really shows up at the facility at 5 a.m. every day, but can't run routes or pass protect. Yeah, he's got to be working on some of this. Now, I did see that he stayed home during the Saints preseason game. Congratulations. I think he became a father. I think him and his wife or fiance had their first child, which is great. But I think that Sean's not telling McLaughlin not to come if he's just going to cut him. That's just me. I think that we've kind of all kind of thought about, hey, Jaleel is kind of on the bubble right now when it comes to what he brings to the running back room compared to what we got in Badie, J.K. Dobbins, and R.J. Harvey. But I do think that he ends up on this roster. Roan, what's up? I'm drinking out of a Taco Bell cup right now. I love to hear that, man. Go support Taco Bell. This is great. And we'll get to a few other things as well before I get into my 53-man roster prediction here. And of course, want to hear what you guys got to say. But also, we waived DB Micah Abram. This is a little bit of a surprise. Wide receiver Joaquin Davis. I mean, I think he only had like 1 or 2 catches throughout all of preseason. Defensive tackle Michael Dwumfor, who was signed recently. Andrew Farmer, edge player, who I think will sign on a 53 somewhere else. Xavier Truss and Clay Webb. Clay Webb was a guy that I took a big take on, saying that, man, he would make the 53. Not happening, but I hope we get both of these guys on the practice squad. And then we also waived Josh Pickett with an injury settlement. And I believe he had an interception week 1 against the Cardinals. So we'll see what pops up. But again, this is kind of a surprise, kind of not, I guess, at this juncture. It's more of a disappointment, man, because I wanted to believe in Audric Estime so much, man. I really did. Oh, man, Mac TV, thank you so much for the super chat. Really, really does mean a lot to support the channel. Thank you. 3K, here we go. You would all be dead if it weren't for my son, David. Let's go, man. Best name out there. Appreciate it, Mac TV. You're the best. Thanks for keeping the lights on here. This is greatly appreciated. But I think, again, that with Audric Estime, I don't even think he's going to be practice squad. I don't think he's got enough of that explosion off of the line to where, yes, maybe you see it work against 3rd and 4th stringers. But I don't think he has the explosiveness, sadly, to be an effective back in the NFL. And he might say, well, Dave, he's one of the youngest guys or the youngest Bronco on the team. Well, then you probably should be one of the more athletic guys, right? I don't know if it's going to get better as he ages, right? Oh, man, it's from Independence Day. Mac TV, that's been it's been forever since I've seen Independence Day, man. I'm sorry. I didn't get the joke. Marcus Allen, if Badie's kept on the 53 or Badie, at some point I would like to see Blake Watson get a chance to see what he can open up in the pass game. And I agree with you. I want to see Blake Watson. I think that, man, it just sucks that he got hurt. And I haven't seen any information yet on his knee injury. I think that no news is good news in terms of like probably not an ACL injury or probably not a season ender. We probably would have known by now, like 48 hours after the game, if he was out for the year. So maybe it's some sort of knee strain, where there's some ligament damage and maybe he's out for a couple of months. So maybe they're actually able to hide him away on practice squad because of that injury. But I would like to see Blake Watson get elevated and get his shot. I really, really would. He was having a great game again against the Saints. And yeah, it's just a shame that he got injured, man, on slipping on that turf. So yeah, maybe we can still get a 7th-round pick or something like that for Estime if there's a team with more of a power running scheme that wants to have somebody like Audric there at the back end of the roster. Maybe it's something like Albert O, where we announced initially that we were going to release him and then traded him for, I think it was like a pick swap or a conditional 6th, something like that. So let's hope we can get something for him. But right now, I think the guy that's probably most likely to get traded and give us some value is still Damarri Mathis. I'm still holding up hope for Lil Toast. Mac saying Estime equals Rondane. I'm totally game with that. Maybe he can have a resurrection to his career somewhere, but in terms of like a college disappointment also, that was also Rondane. But maybe he has a second win somewhere else, right? I think that would be great. So let me go ahead and get through my 53-man roster prediction here, and then again, I'll get to some of y'all's comments. Let's go ahead and get started. So only keeping 2 quarterbacks. Maybe we could also trade Sam Ehlinger for something, but I think right now I would like to keep him on the 53 or on the practice squad if that's possible. And right now going with 4 running backs, being Badie and McLaughlin rounding out that room. Again, I just don't see Sean cutting McLaughlin after telling him to stay home this past weekend, man. I just don't see Sean doing that. Maybe that's just the brutal reality of the NFL, but I think McLaughlin is kind of like one of these Sean Payton guys. Just think that's true. And right now, I only think we carry, sadly, 5 wide receivers. With Joaquin Davis being cut, that's not happening. With Vele traded, obviously not happening. The only other guys that I would maybe consider would be Courtney Jackson as well as A.T. Perry. My hope would be that we can keep both of those guys on the practice squad. Nate Atkins, Sean Payton came out and said that basically he's a lock for the roster. I would love for us to upgrade over Lucas Kroll. I don't know if that's going to happen. Now, with the offensive line, I have us keeping 9 guys. Backups being Palcho, Matt Pert, Throckmorton, and Forsyth. I don't know if there's any hot takes right there. I think that's maybe Throckmorton gets cut because he didn't make the 53 last year, I don't think. But he has looked good in the preseason this year. And still probably a little bit of a luxury, but I like it right now. I'd rather just keep both Owazurike and Jordan Jackson to round out the defensive line, interior defensive line, and then keeping Dondrea Tillman and Q Robinson to round out the edge room. Linebacker, 4 linebackers right now, being Sternad and Bailey as the backups, but I think guys like Jordan Turner, Karene Reed, those guys are practice squad candidates for sure. I don't love the idea of having 5 safeties, but yeah, I just think PJ Locke makes the team. Same with Sam Franklin and JL Skinner. Maybe they look to trade somebody like PJ Locke, and then they can keep a 5th linebacker or like a 6th wide receiver or something like that. But right now, kind of strange, but I do see us keeping 5 safeties. And then, of course, the 5 corners that we've all had penciled in: Surtain, Barron, Moss, McMillan, Abrams, Train, and Damarri Mathis hopefully getting traded. So that's the 53-man roster. I have not adjusted the practice squad yet, so I'll need to do that probably before Horsepower Hour tonight at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. Be sure to check that out. And then Will Lutz, Jeremy Crawshaw, Mitchell Fabroni all round out the 53. Got to say, disappointing preseason for Jeremy Crawshaw. I would have loved if we could have gotten him more reps in the games, but Sean Payton loved to go for it on 4th down in the preseason, man. So he only had 2 punts per game this preseason. That's not great, but hopefully he can get off to a better start against Tennessee. All right, we'll see what else y'all got. At what point do we stop blaming the running backs and offensive line and start pointing to Sean's scheme being the issue? I don't know right now, Eli Betts. I like with what we've seen out of our other running backs being RJ Harvey, Tyler Badie, McLaughlin, Blake Watson. I don't think that we've felt, at least right now in preseason, that we have a run game issue. Now, if that does start to happen during the regular season, like let's say we're not running the ball well during the first 4 or 5 games, I think that that is absolutely, um, grounds for some panic or some criticism. I know that things move into this wide zone scheme probably won't be the smoothest transition. And so you want to give them a little bit of leeway to work that in. But at the same point, if something's not working, you want to find what's working. So maybe it is some more inside zone. We'll have to think, or we'll have to see what happens. Watson caught everything. Yeah, he was great. For Audric's size, you'd think you've been better at pass blocking. Totally agree with you. Kroll was exhausted, didn't block well, man. Yeah, again, I would like to upgrade over Kroll, but I think right now he's shown enough in the preseason to get that um, roster spot right now. Dobbins will be an upgrade if he stays healthy. Yes, I'm booking him or penciling him in for like 10 games this year. We'll see. And yeah, he looked good. Yeah, I need to watch Independence Day, man. I think the last time I watched Independence Day was probably half my lifetime ago. So I'm definitely due for it. Maybe I can grab some of my wife's cousins and watch some, because I do like watching old movies with them. So we'll have to see. The Jeff Goldblum character. I'll look into it, man. I'll remember that next time I watch Independence Day. Again, thank you for the super chat, Mac. I'm fighting the man. I'm fighting YouTube over on David Talks Buffs. They say I don't have original content over there, man. What's up? Came without a warning, man. This is thousands of dollars going away. So, but I'm sure it'll all get worked out hopefully soon. Any chance they add a waiver wire wide receiver before the 53 is finalized? I haven't looked to see if anybody else surprising has been cut. Is there anybody better than Courtney Jackson or A.T. Perry that's been cut? Let me know. Who's starting, RJ or JK? I would like to see RJ Harvey start with JK Dobbins spelling kind of being that primary back. That's just me, though. I know that maybe Sean doesn't initially want to trust that rookie off the bat, but he also did spend the 60th pick overall on him this year. And I really like what we've seen with RJ Harvey so far this preseason. So why not? Now, this would be cool. Jacoby Myers requested a trade from the Raiders, and they just signed Amari Cooper. Yeah, I wonder where he's going. Maybe back to New England? I would love to have a receiver like Jacoby Myers on this team, but that's very unlikely being a division rival. So Markey from Markey Sports, he'll be on tonight on Horsepower Hour at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, saying AT's making the 53. Man, I hope to God he's making the 53. If Sam Ellinger just had that throw a little bit more on target, man, A.T. Perry would have had like a 35-yard catch. And shout out to Ryan Edwards. If you know, you know. And Broncos React, he shouted out everybody in Broncos country that's a big fan of A.T. Perry. I loved it, man. It was awesome. We get 54. No, we get 53. We did have an extra roster spot due to Jeremy Crawshaw being an international player. Like during the preseason and training camp, I believe we carried 91 players, but that exception goes away once the regular season starts. So we only get 53 for right now, moving forward. Now, I do think if the NFL does increase the season to 18 total games at some point, it would be really nice just to see them go with like an active roster of like 60 guys where everybody dresses. I hate the fact that you have 48 that dress. If you're on the 53, shouldn't you just be able to dress for the games? I don't like some of these. I think these are kind of outdated rules and regulations. It would be nice to see us have a larger roster size in the NFL because with injuries, again, you're always calling up guys from the practice squad. It would be nice to have a few more guys there in the cupboard, so to speak, to step in if there are some injuries during the games. I love to see all the good players from the Raiders and Chargers leave. Yes. Now, what would be interesting is if Audric Estime is going to get claimed, a guy who could, or a team that I could have an eye on to claim him would be the Los Angeles Chargers. I think he could fit in a little bit better with what they're doing over there in Charger land compared to what we've done here. So we'll have to see. Damarri Mathis waived. Wow, wow, wow. Let me go ahead and refresh my Twitter feed, and we can go ahead and talk about it. How about that? Now, Cameron Johnston got waived. Are we sure that's not? Man, who's that comedian? Anyways, Broncos have waived veteran cornerback. Oh, am I even showing this? Yes. Broncos have waived veteran cornerback Damarri Mathis, a rookie starter in 2022 and first half of 23. Mathis has since been a backup. Would not be surprised if he's a waiver claim, but we'll see. Congratulations, or best of luck rather, to Lil Toast. I wish he could have gotten us some trade compensation or some draft compensation rather, but it is what it is, man. M thing with the breaking news on live. Gotta love it. Yes, absolutely. So I'll have to change this headline to this and Audric Estime waived. So I'll do that right now. Just a bummer, man. I wish Damarri Mathis could have worked out, but it is what it is. We all knew. We could all see it coming. We now save $3 million in cap space by releasing him, so that's great too. More money we could use for maybe a Nick Bonino extension, right? More money we could use to bring in, a veteran punter if Crawshaw, craps the bed for the first, quarter of the season. Yeah, I thought that was Bill Burr, man. What the heck? Yeah, we can't. I mean, is Bill Burr a better punter than Jeremy Crawshaw? I mean, I wanted to think that, he was our franchise punter, but it's off to a rough start. I'm not totally out on Jeremy Crawshaw yet because, again, he's having 2 punts per game right now. But, I'm definitely going to be watching it. My expectation is if you're going to be a punter that's drafted, you're going to punt better than the league's worst punter. Blake Watson gone. I would imagine that's also because the injury. He's probably out. I mean, if it is like a strain in his knee, it probably would be a couple months before he's even ready to start practicing, right? So hopefully it's not a full ACL tear or anything like that. But if he got cut, maybe we're able to stash him away on the practice squad for the time being. And it could end up being like a blessing in disguise. How many running backs are we keeping? I think we keep 4 because, again, I just don't see Sean Payton telling Jaleel McLaughlin to stay home this week with his job on the line and then cutting him. I think if he's saying Nate Atkins has a spot on this roster, I think Jaleel McLaughlin has a spot on this roster. So now if I were in charge of the roster, I would toy with the idea of just keeping 3. But that's just me. Obviously, Sean Payton and George Payton have different ideas. I think it's probably a 95% chance we keep, all 4 right now. So we'll have to see. Crawshank redemption. Crawshank needs some redemption. This is great. Maybe that's the new nickname until he becomes the franchise punter, right? The day I'm worried about a punter is the day I never watch football again. Holy moly. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're not worried, man. I'm glad you're not worried. I got to say, I'm a little anxious right now. So we'll have to see. Richie Rich, what's going on, man? Nice to see the team doing what successful teams do. Yes. Cutting guys that aren't good enough. Right? So Watson was looking better than Jaleel overall. I'm sad that Watson got hurt. Yeah, I agree with you. But hopefully we can keep Watson on the practice squad while he's recovering from this knee injury, and we can see him later in the year. Now, I think somebody had a comment about Burton and Prentice. I would imagine right now that you see a guy like Prentice activated week 1 off of the practice squad, just elevated because he would get 4 elevations. From my understanding, Michael Burton's going to take a while before he's ready to be elevated to start playing on game days. So I think you'll see Prentice activated. Maybe a Caden Prescore in there if they keep him on the practice squad. I like what we saw to Caden Prescore, but I do think they can keep him on the practice squad because, again, it just took him a while before he was, he's stuck with the team. Yeah, Thamelman TV saying, David, remember we were talking last week. My 4 running backs were Harvey, Dobbins, Jaleel, and Badie. Dude, Jaleel's a huge weapon, and I think against the Cardinals, man, he really did prove that. He actually broke some tackles, which was great now, and made some guys miss, and he ran past a bunch of guys. He had some nice cuts and some nice jukes, man. I like what we saw out of Jaleel, man. That's what I want to see. So, yes, I think you nailed it right on the money right here, Thamelman. We got to keep these 4. If one guy goes down, let's say, hopefully not, though, RJ Harvey goes down, you just want to be giving it to Dobbins? No, you want to have a complement or a cupboard full of backs, rather, that you can go to. Both Jaleel and Badie can break runs. And I really like this, too. Badie is also the other kick returner. He has tremendous value on special teams. He's also the punt protector. Only the Broncos have a fullback without a 100 without a 100-yard game rusher. Yeah, isn't that hilarious? We better have some this year. I'll tell you that. Badie's the GOAT, man. And yeah, we'll see what happens with Prentice, man. I know that there have been some Broncos fans and even some media guys that think that Prentice is just a better fullback overall than Michael Burton. To me, I haven't really watched either of them extensively, so I wouldn't really know. But I'll take your word on it, man. Hopefully Prentice is that dude. We'll have to see. But Pat Bryant looked fantastic throughout preseason. Troy Franklin looked like the real deal. And I think that those guys are going to be tremendous depth receivers for us. I expect Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims to kind of be the main guys getting targets, but it would not surprise me at all to see Pat Bryant or Troy Franklin assert themselves as one of those main options as we go on throughout the year, man. But what are you guys thinking, man? I still think the Broncos, I know that the offense wasn't great this preseason, but to me, like, I'm not making much of that at all. You're trying new things in preseason. You're not game planning, like, all this stuff, man. I'm not freaking out. More so going by what I saw last year from Bo Nix. I think that we can win 12 games. I think we could win 13 games if we get some luck, man. I think we're going to be right there for winning the division, man. I think so. And great point, Rowan. Yeah, Prentice did play for Sean Payton out there in New Orleans for a couple of seasons. So he already does have familiarity with the system, what he's going to be asked to do, responsibilities, all those things, man. I think that's awesome. Let's see here. And I'll also scroll down in here so y'all can kind of see my full 53. Because I got Jordan Jackson staying. Could win the Super Bowl. Yeah. It's kind of weird to see us have all the attention that we've had so far as kind of dark horse Super Bowl contenders with like the mainstream media. I can't remember the last time we've ever been talked about this, right? Very, very strange, but we got to take care of business starting from week 1 moving forward. Like, we got to start out hot. There's no excuse for losing to a team starting a rookie quarterback in their first game when we're at home, man. We have to go and absolutely obliterate the Tennessee Titans. And then the next week, man, we have to go and obliterate the Colts and Daniel Jones. Like, no doubt about it. We got to get off to a hot start. Yeah, could win the Super Bowl, could lose to the Jets. Somewhere in between my prediction. Hey, any given Sunday, right? I'm glad we get to play the Jets again this year. That'll be a fun London game. Dennis saying luck happens when preparation and opportunity come together. Yes, and we have had a lot more luck over the last, couple years, right? Hey, even going back to our first year with Russell Wilson and Sean Payton a couple years ago, man, we were winning a lot of these tight games. And right now, Rowan, I don't think a UDFA makes the roster. I think maybe a guy like Karene Reed has a shot. Maybe somebody like Courtney Jackson does, but I think all those odds of them making the roster right now are probably they're probably in favor of them not, rather than them making the roster. So this is going to break a streak that we've had for quite a while of a UDFA making the team, man, all year. Mark has been on this all season or all preseason long. I see PJ Locke being in danger of making this team. Will we carry 5 safeties? That's the big question. And if we value special teams production at the backup safety role, PJ Locke is not your guy. So he very well could be on the bubble. So, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get some dinner ready. But again, it means a lot to have 150 people in here talking Broncos. Absolutely love it. Please be sure to tune in to Marquee Sports, Kodiak Broncos, and Broncos Unbridled and I, as we all do our Monday night show, Horsepower Hour, talking about all of this. Again, guys, please be sure to like and subscribe. We're on our way to 3K. And this really helps as I'm fighting demonetization with my Buffs channel, David Talks Buffs. So thank you guys so much. I do this for fun. The fact that you guys talk Broncos with me means the world. So we'll be back in a few hours, y'all. Go Broncos.